All right. I guess I'm channeling my inner Matthew McConaughey today. Welcome back to another episode of Anahita TV. I'm so excited that you're here today. I'm so excited it's October 26th, finally. Oh my God, it's been such a rough ride. This is an energy update, and I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. Everything was retrograde, Mars, Venus, this, that. I don't know all the all of it. I am an intuitive and I help you connect to your intuitive nature. So I don't need to study all of the planets to know this. This is something innate that as a child I've been connected to. And my aim with this channel is to help you get connected to. So without further ado, let's get into it. I created this channel as an outlet to help few friends with their businesses, interviews, things like that. But then it became more of a channel where I share my intuitive nature with you and help you become more intuitive. Who was it? There was a wealthy guy that I feel like we all see on YouTube, and he says the toughest thing in the world is to teach intuition, or to hone your intuition, because that can make or break you. Making bad decisions or meeting someone and trusting them when you shouldn't trust them, or going for a business opportunity when it's actually the wrong idea, or seeing the right opportunities and not missing out on them. A lot of times we second guess ourselves and we don't go for the things that will truly elevate us or make our business grow, or a relationship. Sometimes we blame or we sabotage existing relationships that could further if we just open our hearts. So today we're going to have an honest communication together. And for me, like, I had two major relationships in my life, and where I feel that I was taken advantage of. And I'm not saying that in a victim mentality, please don't get me wrong. The reason being is because of certain boundaries between men and women. And all of that I learned through this shadow work that just happened. All these planets going retrograde since the beginning of September. I believe it was September 2nd or September 10th. It was September 10th all the way till actually yesterday. I had such a emotional upheaval that it manifested itself into like a back pain, and I've had this back pain that I've been dealing with for a while. And I feel like the back pain will go away once I share, because intuitively I get downloads daily and I don't share them because it's a lot of work and I have a day job. And but my intuitive nature, my Ayurvedic doctor, he did my horoscope, and he said that my purpose on this planet, this lifetime, was to help mankind with receiving this information that are daily being downloaded into me. So here we go. So a shadow work. So for me, my relationship issues with family came up. I was actually like, I always tell people we have a boring family, meaning we don't have a lot of drama. There's a lot of love, there's a lot of giving and receiving, but everybody has that one person that causes all the trouble. Or I guess in the US they call it the weird uncle, or the weird aunt, or cousin, or you know, we all have that one person who just stirs the pot. But I had that happen, and it was a situation with my father and his hospitalization, unfortunately, and I had some issues with that. And a family member tried to break us up, saying something to me, saying another thing to my mom, saying another thing to another aunt. And what that did is actually make us much closer. And this person's aim was to break us up. And I won't say it was a he or she, because she watches the channel sometimes. Oh, I guess I did just say that. So if that came up for you, what that was is to test you, to see if this person can push you. And for us to get over something like this is not to say, oh, why me? That's the worst thing you could do for yourself. The victim mentality doesn't help anyone. Instead, allow yourself to feel the pain. Yeah, that's the new, you know, psychologist or the new age people, this is what they say we have to do. So when we fear something and we push it away, we delay the time that the pain should manifest in us. I've been consuming a lot of Andrew Tate. Andrew like says some uninteresting some weird things about women. I'm a strong woman, so I don't agree with some of his stuff, but one of the things I do agree, he says, why are you supposed to be happy all the time? Because that doesn't, we live in a dualistic world. Means if you have pain, then you have joy. If you have unhappiness, then you have happiness. So I'm not, of course we all want to feel the joy and the happiness most of the time, but when the unhappiness or the pain happens, it's a learning curve, and we have to take it as, okay, what is this lesson? If we see it as a lesson being taught at the moment, then the pain is a lot less effective on us. Instead of focusing how much it's hurting, you focus on, what am I learning? What is the lesson here? And when you do that, you take away the emotionality involved in it, and then you take it upon yourself to figure out how this is helping you and how this is going to elevate you. Because when we are born, we are actually, I believe that we know everything, and then we have amnesia. It's called the childhood amnesia. After 5, you don't remember anything. You don't remember what happened in your mom's belly and when you were born and everything that happened all the way till age 5. And that's also, it depends on how you were raised, and that also manifests as childhood trauma. And a lot of our blocks have to do with childhood trauma. So during this past, another thing I had to deal with was childhood trauma, and it was beautiful how I was supported. I had an astrologer was telling me how I was supported and I should go for what I want. And I think I've been always holding myself back, because what I want is very esoteric and very non-traditional, and I come from a very traditional background, and I've been fighting it very hard. At this point, I am actually, for a long time, I didn't feel that my family accepted what I do and being intuitive, and it was all made up in my head. It was because they didn't conduct themselves that way. But I saw it as, if they don't do it, then I shouldn't do it that way either. So what I've done is I've become closer to my family, and from becoming closer to my family, they accept me as I am. Coming from a very nomadic, tribal type family where everybody was together, all the decisions were made together. I have a huge family. My mom, there is 8 members of the siblings. So it's my mom and 7 more, 3 boys, 5 girls all together. And my dad, there's 5 boys, 5 girls, 5 boys. And unfortunately, I lost 1 aunt. So there's 9 of them now. And so I was very spoiled. I was raised in a traditional family, very conservative Iranian family, and but it was amazing. I do feel blessed, because I feel like my aunts and uncles and my parents really loved me and gave me a lot of opportunities and joy. But what happened was that I was raised in such a beautiful environment. I never really experienced any downfalls or any upheavals until I got married. In 2001, I got married, moved to Los Angeles, and boy, was it tough. Every single minute of that has been a learning opportunity. That's the nicest way I could call it, just with a divorce and then becoming a single mom. This is not, coming from a traditional family, these are not the things I had in mind for myself. And it's been tough raising my daughter by myself. It has been very tough. I mean, her dad is involved, but at the end of the day, I believe moms are the most responsible when it comes to teaching manners, when it comes to teaching the right tools, education. During the pandemic, I taught my daughter how to cook, so now she cooks for herself. And not many kids can do that. And that was beautiful, and I love that. And when she was little, whenever I went out for a run, I would take her with me. Even when she was 3 or even when she was 1, I would just take the stroller and run with her, a running stroller I had. And then eventually I started her out at 3 years old, walking shorter distances. And then by the time she was 5, we were doing 1 mile, 2 mile, 3 mile walks. And so this is something that I've done over time. I'm a very traditional mom. I do believe that most of the responsibility on child rearing has to do with mothers, and I feel like I do believe the father should be the provider. So I'm a little bit old-fashioned, I guess, in that regard. I don't judge you if the dad stays home and the mom works, because maybe dad is more maternal, and the mother, is in a financial situation where she can do that. So that's what the modern age has brought us, and I think that's beautiful. So your choices are yours, and this is why we live in such a wonderful, amazing environment, where we are allowed to do things like that. So the point being is, I look at life as a whole. It's not just I have a bad relationship, I had a bad mother or a bad father, or I was raised in a bad neighborhood. At the end of the day, it's all your choice. When you're an adult, pick up yourself. And there is no reason why in today's day and age we should not be able to accomplish what our heart says. There's so much free information on YouTube. There's so much free information on the internet. So you have to get smart. You have to get intuitive. And how do you get smart? How do you get intuitive? Look at, I don't study astrology. I just follow it just so that I get a glimpse of what's going on. But then it makes sense to me based on what I'm feeling, based on what's going on in the public arena, based on everything that's happening in our lives. One of the things I am an advocate of is that the fact that we are becoming into the Aquarius age. A lot of the dogma that has separated us is actually falling apart. And we do see people who are more traditional, like Patrick Bet-David and Andrew Tate, to some degree. I don't agree with some of his stuff about yeah, it's okay if you cheat on your wife. I do get it. If you do, that's another conversation. We'll talk about that another time. Because I feel like I do believe, like with him, I have two brothers. I grew up with men, so I see that the side of him that the way he talks as Donald Trump said, locker room talk. He talks to boys. He doesn't consider the females sitting around listening. If he had been raised with a sister, he talks about his amazing dad. I'm sure his dad would have taught him how to behave in front of a woman. And so some of the things he says is hurtful to some women is because, I don't like when men refer to a girl as my bitch or my hoe or my, what he does, he says two things that I've noticed he uses two words. He refers to women as, excuse my language, as pussy. So sorry. Or chick. Those are the two words I've noticed. He doesn't say slut which is, thank God. But those two words are, I guess, it's not very classy, Andrew. You're a great guy, but no. You got to change your language, especially when you talk about being in the upper echelons. When you're in the upper echelons, you have to use a different type of language. And if you want to affect men the way you are, and I'm happy that you are doing what you're doing, because I think men do need you. I do believe that the men's feelings and emotions have been ignored, and I commend you for helping them. But I want you to also consider using better words. When you are a public figure, your words matter, and we must say and do things that affect us as a human community, because I know you care about family. I know you talk about love, marriage, and family and children. So one of the things you need to consider is that YouTube is public and children are also watching your content, because sometimes you refer to men who are 16, 17. Those are still considered by law under 18. They're considered children. So you are influential, and I hope that you take the chance to upgrade your language. But I do like the fact that you are traditional, and you are a protector, a warrior. I do believe we don't have any more warriors, and I'm so happy that you're out there creating that. So thank you for that. And so let's keep going with the intuitive work. With the intuitive work is that the 25th, which was last night, that was the most amazing thing that happened. So everything up to this point, all the mess you've been dealing with is gone. So you have to believe this. And the way to do it is to deal with things as they come in your life. And don't push things under the rug. And from now on, I would love for you to start a meditation habit. That's another way to call in your intuition, because what's happening is that the things you don't see, we are, as they say, the spiritual veil is actually very thick the rest of the year, except during this time. And this is why they have Halloween, because it's, spiritual. The 31st of October is the most spiritually connected day. And I'm not sure why we do Halloween on that day, but that day should be a day of meditation, even if you are doing Halloween the night of. But I would recommend is going within and meditating if you're an adult. I know children like to trick or treat, but if you're an adult, and this Halloween, I promise you, if you meditate from 11 o'clock, wherever you're at, till midnight for an hour, until the clock strikes 12:01, like Cinderella, you will be in such a better place the rest of the year. So this is the year of, you are closing the past. We are closing all the negative things that we've been through, like 9/11. We've been through this all together, like the pandemic, like everything that's happening. And right now there is a massive recession coming and everybody's talking about it. But it's all up to you. Everything has to do with connecting to spirit and visualizing the things you actually do want, and taking your focus off the shadow, off the past, off of what used to be, throwing it away, and creating the new you. I recommend watching or listening. I guess it's on YouTube, so you can listen to Psycho-Cybernetics. It's a book that was written back, I believe, in the early 70s or late 60s. I listened to it, and I've done some of the things it says. You can create the new you. If you are not happy where you're at, you can definitely achieve everything you want this year. Age of Aquarius is here, so friends, stay tuned. I have more in store for you. I have an energy healing process that I can talk to you about on the next video. Can't wait to tell you about it. And I also do a pranic healing, and I'll do, which I learned from Master Co. Master Co is amazing. I would recommend him and following him on Instagram or on YouTube. He does this pranic healing, and I did that, and it just changed my life. And I'd love to share it with you, but if you are not very good with the spiritual realm, I don't think you should do it on your own. You should probably contact a healer, a Reiki healer, or even myself or anyone else. And because when I did pranic healing for myself the first time, I had eaten 2 hours before and 4 hours later, so that was 6 hours from the time I ate. I had a stomach issue, and everything came out. It was very uncomfortable. So what pranic healing does, I would recommend doing it maybe at night. If maybe don't eat at dinner, and do it late at night, like 8 o'clock, and then go to bed, and let that heal your body while you rest and you sleep. With that being said, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Anahita TV. I can't wait to hear from you. I'd love to see your comments below, and please share this with your friends, family, and let me know how I can help you. I'm an intuitive energy healer, and I do healings over the phone and over Zoom. So just let me know. Have a blessed day.